morning to everybody. It's 10:10, so we have academic 15 that actually we could prolong to 5 more, but we can't because the authors of the first competition program that we watched yesterday at Kino Dvor, Vidmar, Massimo, Ottoni, Martina Meštrović, and with Martina, Andrea Martignoni, who was the sound designer for the film. They have to leave quite soon because they are starting, all of them, they are involved with the Pentagon project. It's a live performance, live animation performance that you are all invited to see at the Slovenian Cinematheque in the angle near the bar of the Cinematheque in the hall. So Thomas Johnson, this is his project. He chose 4 authors that together with him they will animate for the whole day, so please come and give them support, bring them some vitamins if they need. And actually and massage. No, can you get massage when you animate? I don't think so.
No, in the break.
You have breaks. And actually we will see the result of the workshop on Saturday night before the closing awards ceremony. This is my colleague Milen Alempijević. We will lead the breakfast with the authors until the end of the festival. Milen is the artistic director of Anima Festival in Čačak and many other things. And we should start. The first film that we saw yesterday, it's Farewell, Slovo by Vidmar. It's his first professional film. What to say, how to introduce you properly. I always am saying there is one thing you told me. You've been assistant animator to Špela Čadež with her film Boles. So you got your diploma or even more in stop motion puppet animation in production, on the process, on the spot. And then you told me after that before you made 3 or 4 films, your diploma at the Academy of Fine Arts in Ljubljana was also with a stop motion animation film that you did together with Jaka Kramberger. Use the mic, just. But you told me then after Špela that only then you realize what to animate and to animate a puppet means. Can you try to think about this a little bit more and explain it? Why and what happened? What was that moment in the process where you realized how difficult it is to animate, but then you understand that you could do it?
Yeah, well...
Še bliže se da mikrofon.
Okay.
Ne?
Ne? Okay. Yeah, well, the thing with animating before was basically what I learned from internet, and in the Academy of Fine Arts we were just told the theory. So yeah, it's 24 frames per second at the time. It wasn't even 25 as now, but it was mainly theory. And then books helped, but when you move the puppet, it's a little bit different than drawing. The principle is the same, but you still you have a 3D space. You need to move in space. And the first time I was doing it with some program, of course I used the onion skin and just doing it 2D, and of course it was horrible at the end. And then with Špela, it was basically this, that Oliver Thorm, the main animator, he was already at the time 15 years in professional productions, different productions. So he was like a real professional and mentor. And I was there every day and being an eager student, how you do this, and he was just really good mentor in this way, that's explaining how to move the puppet. And of course you don't use the onion skin and stuff like that. And basically what made me really to learn how to move, I was forced to because Oliver left before the end of the shooting, so I had to animate 1 minute of the Boles, and it was oh fuck, now I have to animate on the level of his level, and it was how, and of course I knew that a little bit sooner than just one day he's gone, but So I was like really asking, like, so how you do this, how you do this, and I think, I mean, Spela said that, I mean, she was satisfied with what I did, and I think you don't really see it in Boles, like that there's any level change in animation. But of course I was slow, but that's...
When you say slow, what does it mean in terms of like how many milliseconds per day?
I don't remember the seconds, but the beginning was anyway slow because it was like, yeah, correcting and checking every frame like really, really thoroughly to get the precise movement. But the thing was that with Oliver, he had some issues, personal issues, and he was anyway slow, not in the sense of animating slow, but he needed like a week, and in between this week he should do like, I don't know, at least 5 shots, but he did just 1 or 2, and the rest days he just didn't do anything. So he was fast, but so at the end, with my longer animating time, I was still faster than Oliver, so Spela was satisfied.
Okay, let's talk about Farewell and not about Boles anymore. I mean, it's important to know where you got your experience, and it's how you kept this. It's a personal story. It's about a grandfather and
it's memories of my grandparents. Yeah.
So you were keeping this story inside you for a long time before you, or how, when you decided, what was the moment that you decided this is a story that I want to tell?
Yeah, actually it was really funny because it was more or less 3 years ago. And it was just, I don't know if it was morning or evening, it just popped and I started writing. And it was just images floating on paper in words. And that was the beginning. It was just memories of my my childhood, yeah, but mainly it was grandmother and grandfather. And then from that I did storyboard, kind of. I made images out of that text. And if I would do that, it would be a really confusing film to watch and nobody would understand except people who know me and some crazy enthusiasts into experimental film that would be like not understanding would be, oh cool, that's nice. Okay. So the scriptwriter Kaya then made it into a story that makes some kind of sense, and of course she took out the grandmother, and this hook with this actually happened to me with my grandmother. She did it. And it happened on the seaside, not on the lake.
Okay, this is maybe for, of course, like our guests, they don't know, but it's funny because like you're saying, Kaya Balog actually is also your partner.
Yeah.
It's a mother of your child. And it's the same with Spela. She's also living at home and have a child with her partner who they write scripts together. Is this becoming like a Slovenian stop-motion puppet formula how to make a successful film? But it's a joke, but on the other hand, I think like to write a story with somebody you live with, you know each other very, very well. It's a process that's a nice process, I would say.
I think it was much easier, yeah. I mean, it's funny that, yeah, and at the time we were doing the script, we weren't together. Mm-hmm. We kind of separated in between. But yeah, of course we knew each other more than anybody, so the collaboration was really easy to work on it.
Okay, Leon, thanks. I would like to ask you also a question. I believe that you are familiar with Tomek Ducki's film Laznia, Bath. If not, I could tell that Tomek Ducki in that film in very specific way applies perception of time, because main character is swimming through in the pool, and when she is under the water, we can see the picture from her past, and when she is out of the water, it's actual moment. So the element of water in your film, how does it function? Because we could find flashbacks, I think, thanks
From
to the
the-
media of so-called media of water. Is it possible to make some connection between two kind of realities?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a red thread through the whole thing is this water, but I don't know. It wasn't intentional. Like, oh yeah, I will use water as a connection. It was so intuition of the first story. From these memories, I already made this idea of person in a bathtub thinking about childhood, and then this drip of water transforms into is the first trigger to get you into the other world. I mean, of the memories. So it was, I don't know, I don't really think like intentionally, I just feel and just do what I think it's right, but without like, have this manipulation in my mind. Oh yeah, this will be cool.
Okay, so what actually happens at the end of film when water exceeds the tab? The main character is desperate at the beginning, so he lives with his memories, and what happens at the end actually?
I wanted to show that he decided to do what he did before with his grandfather, just have him with memories, but still doing so in this way that the dead person is still with you in your memories and with the things you do.
Okay, Milen, we have to move on. My last question for Leon, actually, again, the water, like really important element as you detected, but in the process of making the film, this water was really also almost
challenge.
Almost like making a mess with the production, huh? Can you tell this story? Because like you
Yeah, I mean, one thing is already this, like, you don't use water in stop motion, of course. But then at the end, I decided that, okay, I will try to break the rule and use the water in the sense of using the water always goes in the same position. As much as you move it, it will always go the same position. And then this shot, the last sequence shot, it was kind of crazy that we poured little by little, frame by frame, 70 liters of water. It was actually just 10 centimeters deep pool, but in the middle I had the whole bathroom in a deeper container. And the first time we did a test, as soon as we came out of the container to this bigger pool, the water started dripping, and it was like, oh no, fuck, now it will be like almost 500 liters of water all over the studio. And so it was adrenaline jumping around and pouring out the water back to the other container, and then of course the shot that then we did, it took from Sunday 10 in the morning till Monday 10 in the morning, like 24-hour shot. A horrible thing I never want to do again. I'm proud that we did it, that we succeeded in doing it with Jaka, but it was, in the middle of the summer, 40 degrees or 45 inside with the lights. We were just in underpants, pouring the fucking water in, and so. Yeah.
Okay, Leon, we have to move on. Before closing, for all of you that you didn't visit it yet, Leon has the exhibition from his film that it's open until Sunday at the gallery of Ljubljana Fine Art Association on Brek 22. For our festival guests, if you don't know where it is and you wanna visit it, I really like you to visit it because it's beautiful with like puppets, scenography, photos of the making of the film. Ask our hospitality office at Kino Dvor to point you out where is this little gallery. It's at 10 minutes walk from Kino Dvor, so don't miss this opportunity. Thank you, Leon. If you want, you can go to Pentagon, but if you want to wait for everybody, I don't know what you do.
Yeah.
Okay, super. So we go to Martina. Martina, she let's wait. I really want to have the background image proper. So okay. So Petrova šuma, Peter's forest. What should I say here? Actually, I know this project very, very well because at the time I was commissioner at the Croatian Audiovisual Center, and it was one of the best proposals at that call. Actually, you tried a few times. My previous colleague.
I try before, like when was Margit Antau committee, but she dismissed that project.
Okay, but this is also, I wanted to ask you on that. It's also good sometimes because, like, when you get rejected, maybe you think about the project a little bit more. I think that her main problem was that the story for her was not clear enough, that it was too, how to say, like, she didn't find motivation in the story. I think something like this. Do you remember what she wrote to you?
She said that the main idea was great, and because, on the beginning, this is not my original idea. My good friend of mine showed me the short story, and that short story doesn't have part what is the trigger for that boy to become a tree. So I try to think what will be the most powerful reason that he made this decision. So in the first place, we had idea to that main character have some love problem. It was like really, I have mess, in my head because, this is a process. And in that story, the main character is punching another guy, and in that case, Margit didn't agree with that. He thought this is like a bad idea.
Yeah, maybe it was too direct for her, but on the other hand, as a parable, a universal one, it's about like not accepting a minority or a different person, no?
Yes.
But then still, and we should all mention that Marko Meštrović there also helped a lot with animation, I would say. Actually, you were both.
Yes, we are together. We are living together and working together.
This animation world is becoming...
Yes, but now he is separate than me. Now he ran away in the garage. He made a studio, so...
He was forced by you, obviously.
No. He did it by himself. Yes.
No, but then let's be serious. Again, like but then, are you now? Do you think like the dramaturgically and story-wise? Because I think that the artwork is really beautiful and it's like proper. It fits the story. Still, okay. Like anyhow, when the film is screened, each person in the audience makes its own story about the film, and when you leave it open, and I think you succeed to leave it open. It's not.
It is open. Yes. Yeah. So let's back to the story about scenario script. Yes. So when I apply for Hearts, then I have one version, but during the process, also Vanja Andrejević helped me to connect me with a really great script writer. She called Jasna Žmak. And, we just exchange a few emails, and she's like, opening my eyes. I said, yes, this is it. I have to clean, all the story, because I had idea, okay, I want to separate past from the present in the film. So my idea was to have a puppet, and drawings. And then actually I already talked with Ivana Thomas and Thomas Johnson to help me, but I quit them after I talked
with the script.
Yes, when I changed the script. So I decided to clean all stuff which is not actually important for the story. So I don't know. I want to stay in that meditating atmosphere. So I have that scenes with rain and leaves and
Roots.
yes, roots on
Roots
the
and-
end.
yeah.
Yes, I
Martina?
have that breaks.
Yeah. In your statement about the film as a universal parable in three colors, what's actually the meaning of that three colors? As we
This
know
is like a
that you
three
have-
stage in his life, and he is little when he's a little bit older, and then you know that when he is like a teenager.
Okay, so
Yes.
so the colors has each color has its symbolical power
Yes,
and meaning.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. In this moment, I'm thinking about film, live action film actually. How Harry Became a Tree. It's an Irish one, and it's very interesting transformation from a man to a tree, and the transfiguration in your film is also very, very interesting, because I think that you, I must admit that I'm not familiar with your with the short story on which your film is based, but I think that your story is very specific in a way that you made your film as kind of a socially engaged a message, because being different in some communities is from time to time, from situation to situation, a kind of curse. And Peter in your film is a kind of a victim in some situation, and the solitude tree in the closing sequence of your film is actually a symbolic way of yours to depict his transformation when he's at the end and finally maybe safe. Is it maybe?
Yes, he chose to be like he accept himself. You know, he said, okay, I'm like
But
that.
he's the only
yes,
one
and
who
I'm
accepts.
happy.
At last he accepts himself, but
Yes.
the community, his environment rejected him.
Yes, but my idea was when he accepts himself, then you know other trees grow around him.
Okay.
This is like idea. I don't know if anybody catch that, but maybe it's open. But for me, it's like that. Yes.
This is, you know, Milen, sometimes animators are not so philosophical as then we think they are. But as I said before, everybody, each viewer has its own interpretation.
I think everything I saw is very visible.
Yeah.
Believe
No.
We can share it with the audience and ask them.
Yes,
No,
why
it's true.
not?
It's true. But yesterday, for example, it was something that Mauro Carraro said, and it was very important, I think, at his masterclass, saying if you don't have a straight idea of what you're doing, don't do it. So it's like if you don't know what's the reason of it, you say it's like this, Mauro, no? So it's like, but on the other hand, then it's nice when things are a little bit open, and you were saying also, we started from the script, and you were saying that you were changing it, and you were not sure a little bit.
Yes, but this you said right. This is my idea to change how it's difficult to be different, because all of us are a little bit different on our way, and some bad stuff, you know, can trigger us to change ourselves or to accept ourselves. Yes, but it is a problem in society.
One more thing is like the role
This
of the
idea.
nature. I think that also like you are a little bit romantic or, you know, no, like putting the nature is there and it's the only.
We
the
are
only
connected
thing,
with the nature.
yeah.
Yes.
So it's like in connection with the nature, we can feel good even if you are different from other human or society.
Yes.
No, it's an essential part of society, and we are not like living this urban life. We are not thinking about nature enough. I think, no, is it?
Yes, it's true.
Okay.
And what was Andrea's
What you do
impressions
here,
of-
Andrea?
What am I doing here? What was I doing for
your
the film?
impressions in making a sound picture for the film?
But no, maybe let's
It's
first
not
ask Andrea when he got the film from Martina. What was your impression on the story? This is interesting to hear from the sound designer. From
But
the musician.
I think that was quite clear that there was this process of problem with this guy, with the society around him, and I think that the message is very clear. I don't think there is I think it's an open film because you can read it in maybe in different way. You can have your opinion about, but because it's not a clear story like this doing that, saying to guys that one, etc., etc. but it's more free in a way, but at the same time it's very clear what it is about. So, and for me was a little bit the same thing, because it's the kind of film that I feel really free to do something by myself, always being at the service of the film, so listen what she said, but she let me free, so I proposed something that was working, so stop. No, when something is working, you don't have to remove something. No, it's really a piece of, a kind of film that I like very much work on it, like it was in other film completely different, but that I feel there is the way to create something like a blues film or Boris Pramatorov film or Mr. Sand that you will see in another program this week. And it's really a film when I can try to do something by myself and try to see if it fit well on the film. And normally in this kind of film, things running quite fast in soundtrack. When you have to do something really precise, the step, whatever, this sound, I want this, I want that, it became a little long process. Like for example, with Virginia Mori, was a long process of doing the soundtrack, but this was really, really very fast, really natural way. So I was really enjoying to do the soundtrack for this film. And as the reaction from Martina was very good, it seems that it was true, it's not only my opinion.
But okay, for you, Andrea, it's also it's this question that maybe you will get more and more, like to when you become a sound designer for short animation film, and I remember always like Normand Roger from Canada. After some time, you tend to repeat yourself. So how are you aware of this? And then like how you approach like new, because like the sound, it's a kind of like aesthetical or style thing. What you use, how you do your music and sound.
Yeah. Sometimes for example, using some instrument like a metallophone instrument, like I used here and use also in other film, but. Every time there is something different. If you compare the soundtrack to Blue or also to Boris Pramatorov, there is some difference in it. And especially here I was using also I did a part of an improvisation made with a collective musician in Porto for another project that really, when I was watching the film, I was remembering that these 2 hours of improvisation with instrument made with old furniture full of things inside. Was very interesting, very creative, and we were in 4 playing together. And I remember that there was something that was, I don't know why, was something that reminded me of this film. So I go into my computer to check what I had, and I tried to edit some of the pieces with these musicians, and was fantastic. It was like, it seems was made for this film. So part of the film, a couple of minutes, is made with this, and then I built the rest starting from this focus. I don't know if there is something, but anyway, when for example, talking about Normand Roger, I did my graduate thesis on him, and I separate, when Normand Roger is working with Frederick Bach, is a Frederick Bach style Normand Roger. When he's working with Koedeman, it was like Koedeman Normand Roger style, Paul Drissen. So every time that he was working with somebody, you really feel the difference, because he was working for an author with a style, with an aesthetics that is different from the other. So maybe, I don't know, if you do a next film with Martina, I can try to be in the same style of this one. But for example, when I worked with Blue,
depends of course on the atmosphere of the film. For example, if you create a soundscape for films that have, let's say, similar mood, for example, Petra Zonaga's Hunger and this film, when we have a kind of a...
organic.
Yes.
Yeah, same country.
So there's not 2 different way to make a different kind of films in their cases, because the atmosphere is unique. That comprise several authors.
There is only one soundtrack for one film. You can think there are 1,000, but it's not true, because finally one.
That's what I was saying. Like he's only sampling old stuff and making it.
No, there's not one soundtrack for several films. It's one soundtrack for one film.
You're like Goran Bregović. You're remaking your own things.
We have to joke. Maybe Martina, like the last thing, really, you have to go back to work, otherwise Thomas will be really angry on me first and then on you second. In terms of visual, in terms of artwork, I guess you really enjoy the process of making it,
Yes.
drawing. So actually,
Yes.
also this we started with the script, and then we had a discussion in the between where you were saying like, okay, but maybe I will go this way because like I really like to change things when I'm drawing.
Yes.
You keep to some storyboard, to some line, but then you change. So what you used here? It's
2D.
2D.
2D Toon Boom. Yes, like vector program. Yes. I don't know. Yes, it's working.
And you got any problems, any problematic parts, or
Actually not.
No?
Yes, it was really when I realized what I want in the visual, then everything go really smooth. But like I said, I had also idea to put some colors inside. Like when he's in childhood, I want to to make some colored scenes. But when I saw this piece, I didn't like it, so I just removed and decided to stay very clear and minimalistic drawing and color, only white and black.
Yeah.
It's okay for me.
Okay, thank you guys. It's 10:40. So Massimo, salve. Hello.
Hello.
The Steinway. Actually, it's this year at Animateka we have quite few films on the First World War thematic. That's clear because like last year it was 100 years anniversary of the end of the beginning.
2014 is the beginning, and 2018 will be the end.
So okay, yeah.
So
all,
years ago, it was
all this between, it's kind of like a remembrance and celebration.
Yeah.
And actually, those two films, they are feature animated films Adama and Kafar, that you can see in part of the retrospective of 3D computer animation. But for you, and like seeing the producer, Istituto Luce Cinecittà, it's a very strong name, and actually it's an institution that existed from the times of Mussolini.
Yeah.
So it's like it's the national studio in Rome.
Yes, but I think it's the first time they
Produce an animation film
in animation.
But can you explain to us like the how it arrived? It was commissioned somehow, or they had a call for on a thematic that was First World War, or?
No, I think the funds for this film became from celebration around the anniversary of the Great War, and then they find the writer before, and I think the main idea was to make something with animation to make it more friendly for young audience. But we didn't want to make something just for young people, so we made this film.
Well, there's quite a number of films with the same subject, due to that very important celebrations. I remember a film by David Unwin called War Game, about the German and English soldiers having a football match. On the front line.
This is from a true story.
Yes, and the other title is a puppy about New Zealanders, soldiers on the French Western front line. They have found a baby on the front line. So much about the things that have discovered or enjoyed recognizing itself like a human being in the middle of hell of the war. So my question is, the piano, Steinway, in the middle of the war, what was your inspiration for? It's just the fruit of your imagination, or you maybe found something interesting on the subject in the documentary or something like that?
No, the piano already was in the novel
In script?
Inspired this film. Andrea Martignoni is a
it's a novel, huh?
yeah, he's a big Italian writer specialized on Greek war. The novel is very different from the screenwriter of the film, but the center was the piano. I think is a classic. The Roman Polanski film, The Pianist, put a piano inside a war ambient is the same thing of a baby or of something that puts life or art
emotion
in opposite to war.
About the
it's always the same story, but it's the story. It's the naturality of the war for people to kill each other, and the natural passion to life and art and friendship. So I think there are many stories
definitely.
who told that.
But in a way, it's compliments, because like it's a big production. It's a film that's like 17 minutes of let's say realistic animation in terms of like scenography and the set, no? So how you did it? How many people?
Yeah,
what was the budget? Maybe just to understand a little bit, you know.
The budget was good for an Italian production on a short movie. And I don't know exactly, because the production invests money on computer software and lights, stuff that they bring for themselves. So I don't know.
But okay, because this is they hired you, or because still to understand, Istituto Cinecittà, they hired you as a director, or you had another producer that was brought you to this project. Just understand, because it's not clear, no?
Cinecittà hired us, but that was the CSC
Centro
that made like a link between us.
How many people on
we
set?
were seven.
Seven.
To make everything from the storyboard to the construction of puppets and the building of puppets and sets to the compositing, everything in about 9 months. That seems a very long time, but it isn't, because there are about more than 20 puppets and huge scenography and many props and things to do. So.
I think that the narrative structure of your film is a bit much alike to a live-action film. So I also do think that by using and combining two animation techniques, stop motion and 2D, maybe you have made your film more fluid or more more closer to the animation as a media.
Yeah, maybe. I think we have the needing to tell what happens inside the
trench.
People. The trenches, but also inside the heads of the people. So the stop motion represents the realistic part of the film, and 2D represent the lyric, dream, flashbacks, what is difficult to tell in a straight narrative way. So it's normal that the stop motion part seems more like a classic narrative structure of maybe live action, but I always think that stop motion add something to this, because it's not only the story, but it's the way puppets are made, are moving, the scenography looks like, that tell us something over the narrative part.
Yes, as a material technique.
Yeah.
Was it for you, like making a film about war, how your feeling when you were doing it? Because like I'm sure that you are not a guy that you like wars and you are fascinated by weapons and killing people. So these
Obviously,
ethical
no.
problems, in a way, like, okay, you're showing like this craziness, and especially the First World War was really like unbelievably stupid. How they, you know, like the captains were telling people just, okay, now go and you die, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sorry for
Yeah,
interrupting.
yeah.
A very interesting moment at the very beginning of the First World War was that illusion young people suffered from, because they were convinced that the war will be finished in a couple of weeks, and it turned out a slaughterhouse that was 4 years lasted.
This ethical position,
I don't know why, but people loves to tell about things we hate.
Mm-hmm.
We make film about many things we hate. This, I don't know, maybe something of cathartic. Obviously, this is a particular film on war, because we don't show battles or shooting, people killing directly. I think that I try to make the audience gradually forget about war, like the soldier try to do. They try to play, drink, and forget about war. But war is always there. And when the audience, with the soldier, forget about war, the war looks.
The war comes back. The strategy of surprise.
Even worse.
Yeah.
Because you see war not only in a war context, but in a peaceful, normal context, and then you realize the absurd.
So the Steinway is also, I think, a very nice example of how genre functions in animation, because we have almost very easy recognizable characteristics of the genre itself, the war film. So I think it's very well crafted in that way.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think it's always not nice to close it when you feel that we could go on, but it's 10:50. If anybody wants to add anything to the discussion or have a clever question for any of our...
Maybe I can make one remark just on Martina's film From the Garage. This is kind of...
Not acceptable from the garage.
It's interesting how these two girls made a film with real life. And nobody's asking this question actually, but I think it's very interesting thing to discuss.
What do you mean, two girls? Martina?
Like original scriptwriter of a short story.
Bettina.
Original,
wrote this story. I don't know. For me, it's really in original story. The main character is male, so I just accept that. I don't have a problem to drawing a male. But Marco said that it is for him weird that our main character in the film is a male, and we are like girls. Yeah. I don't see any problem with that.
Usually the problem was, and this is not happening so much nowadays, but the man depiction of women in animation was really sexistic in a way, usually, So I don't think that, like female... Yeah, okay, we are on a slippery terrain now.
It's a very personal story about someone, So maybe, it would be also good that if it's a girl.
But are you saying that in the story, Bettina, she put some of her own childhood fears, or I don't understand exactly what you want to say. Do you understand what?
No, ask him. He has his theory about. I don't see any. Yeah. Maybe it is a problem for you to make a movie with a girl main character.
You're opening.
Marco, I think that if you put a female as a main character in this film, it doesn't change absolutely nothing, or not a lot. I mean, it's not a film that is made on genre. It's a film made on human beings.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, let's close it here because otherwise we can open thematic like single mothers raising a child and stuff like this, which are really also important. But for example, okay, here the mother is in the back, only with her hands, in a few moments. Thank you very much. We have a 10-minute break, and then Paul Bush will be on this stage for Paul Bush Talks Masterclass. Thank you.
Yeah.